My people, what up, though? We back with another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. My name is Chief.
And I'm Bell.
My name is Prentice.
And we about to get it going. Today's topic, we'll get into in a second. Fellas, check in. What's good? P, what's the latest, homie?
Man, you know, I'm about to have a baby any day, man. So, you know, this is about all my life entails outside of that, doing this podcast and being glued right back to her hip, man. So she's doing all right, man, but she's starting to feel it. Did some walking today, you know, but it's coming.
All right.
When's the actual due date?
Actual due date is April 6th, and that's her birthday. Okay. There's no way in the world this baby's staying to the 6th. Like, you can see.
Got you.
Yeah.
What is it? 10 days before or 14 days before or 14 days after?
Hey, believe it or not, 4 kids later, I don't know the answer to that question you're asking.
We'll say it's between 10 and 14 days pre and post due date that the baby can come.
She's officially full term now, so it's good whenever the baby drops. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No doubt.
That's what's up, man. That's definitely what's up.
It's the waiting game. That's what's up, yo.
Yeah.
Crazy. Anyways, Bellhead, what's the latest, yo?
A lot going on, but you know, everything is cool. Everything is copacetic. No.
Yeah, man. I got some.
How you doing?
Nothing to share. I'm making some.
Oh, cool. And let's move on. So what we talk about today?
You did them dirty.
I'm making some traction with my play, man. I'm doing some good. It's feeling good right now. I'm making some headway, so I'm good on that end. The kids.
When that thing dropping?
I'm just gonna do a run in the midsummer. Once they say we can go outside again. You know what I'm saying? And,
yeah. Did we talk about this? Y'all getting vaccines?
No, we haven't talked about that.
We haven't talked about that, but I was real fuck that. I'm not getting no vaccine. Now I'm kind of like, I might, but I'm still like, nah.
I'm still black.
Right. So I don't know, but y'all, I was telling somebody the other day, like, fam, I can't recall being like sick. Last time I recall being sick was like summer 2002.
Yeah. You've been sick since then. I remember, wasn't you sick one year in the Poconos?
That was my chest was hurting.
Oh, right. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get it, bro. I was very adamant, like, fuck no, I'm not getting it. And now I'm just like, nah, I'm not getting it. You know what I mean? Like,
so it's kind of like, well, at least you still don't know. I'm like, you can convince me, maybe, but I'm not like I'm not solid no.
So, my man Shatik from iBox, it was a clip from Joe Biden. He's like, we're putting shots in arms and money in pockets. Or hey, I'm about to find it because I'm like,
have you seen all these stimulus memes, yo?
Here it is right here.
Bro, there's hell of them floating around.
Listen.
Shots in arms and money in pockets. Shots in arms and money in pockets.
Like that don't make me feel good, yo.
I'm cool.
Like, look, man, y'all niggas take this 1400 and take this damn tracking serum that we pumping in you, you know, whatever. This we've expedited natural selection and put it in a syringe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. I know, so I'm like, if everybody get the vaccine, then what y'all worried about me for?
Right. I mean, shout out to everybody who got it, to teach their own.
Mm-hmm.
Chief, on the other hand, I'm not paying the $5.
Nah, bro, I ain't doing it.
Nah, I'm not. I'm
good. I'm good too, man. I feel the same way, like to each their own, but nah, I'm good. I'm cool. You know what I mean? Like, nah.
See, that's my thing. Is like, for me, it's just, I mean, I get all the people around me close have gotten it. And I'm just like, yo, I haven't gotten sick. And I hear, some of the side effects are you get sick. And I'm like, yo, if I get sick off of this shot and it like put my immune system back to where it was, where nigga get sick all the time, I'm not feeling that. Not for that right now. So, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Drink this water and do my
and this ginger ale. I'm about to drink this water and ginger ale.
Word.
Shit, what else I need? What we really talking about?
Right. Anyways, topic of today, fellas. We danced around, our issues with
pull your mic closer. Pause.
And B. So we danced around our issues with fatherhood and whatnot, right? So I thought, well, Prentice was like, yo, we should talk about, the levels of fatherhood. It's levels to this.
Levels,
So
man.
we gonna dive into some aspects of fatherhood from our experiences, and hope you can relate and connect, and maybe steal some gems and apply towards your children.
Yeah,
Um,
man. I think the thing that kind of like incited this for me is just thinking having this new baby any day now, and then having my other three who are 8, 9, and 12. It's like they all need different things now. You know what I'm saying? And I realize that I'm really excited about having a baby because this is the first solo baby I'm gonna have. You know what I'm saying? They're all born so close together that they were all babies still, And so it got me to thinking that the attention I'm excited because the attention I got to give the baby is different than the type of parenting or fathering I got to give my other three, depending on, the age and where they're at. So I just started thinking to myself, like, I wonder if other fathers like me look at fatherhood from the perspective of, like the phases they've been through. Like, what have you seen during certain phases? What have you learned that helped you with your older one? Or, just kind of random things that I sit and think about that I don't have conversations with anybody. I don't have conversations with anybody about. So I just thought maybe
so
help.
we can. I say let's start from the very beginning. First of all, if you're not ready to have kids, strap up, because this dad stuff ain't for the faint of heart, yo. Like,
Listen,
if you're gonna do it right, you got to dig deep, cause you gotta dig deep.
Yeah.
So if you not ready to have kids, strap up, please. I implore you, scrap
and,
up.
and 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 if you're not ready, and then you do have a kid on the way, and the kid is coming, strap up mentally. You know what I'm saying? Do your motherfucking job. Like, okay, we can deal with anything, any issues or something, but also strap up mentally if you didn't strap up physically. You know what I'm saying?
Word up. And so all you suck ass cats out there not taking care of your kids, you exactly that. Suckers.
No, they ain't even listening to this shit, but there ain't no way sucking niggas gonna take it. There's no way them niggas is listening
No,
to us,
it's
bro.
definitely we could probably turn it's some dude maybe in turmoil, in conflict, and thinking about doing it. Go see your kids, yo. Take care of your kids. And off the rip, if you find yourself in one of those situations to where you have a significant other or a baby mama or whatever that is using a child as leverage, understand you have rights, do what you got to do, fight for your child, point blank, period. There's no excuse. Oh, she ain't let me see my kid, or we don't get along. That ain't got nothing to do with the baby. Do your part, yo. If you got to go through a couple months where you don't see a kid and go through the courts, and do what you got to do, but ain't no reason you shouldn't be in your child's life.
Straight up.
We'll end that
Yeah.
right there.
And just so the fathers out there that are listening are aware, if you have a child out of wedlock, meaning you guys aren't married, you both have equal rights to that child, right? So you both, by law, have joint custody, right? So the child, even though the child may live with the mother, you still have just as many rights as the mom does. So that's just something to be aware of. I was fortunate enough to learn that at a young age, and because obviously I had a kid at a young age, but that's like a misconception, right? If you're the dad or you didn't sign the birth certificate or all these falsehoods, right? You still have equal rights to that child if you weren't married when you had the child. So just something to think about and be aware of. But Chief, you said you want to start at the beginning. What's the beginning? Like,
that was just first and foremost, like the beginning is kind of like, yo, if you're not ready to have a kid, then you shouldn't be, you know what I'm saying? You got to strap up, because this ain't like, it's not one of them things where you can, well, I guess there is, you can walk away from, but it's one of them things, if you're going to dedicate yourself, you need to prepare yourself and be ready to do so, because it changes your life completely in a fantastic way, but it's also the hardest shit you'll ever do in life. So,
yeah.
So, fellas, I mean, Bell, I think we might have touched on this in the past, but how did you guys feel when you first heard you were having your first child? Bell, was different for you because you were super, super young. Super young. But how did you feel when you found out at the age you did?
Yeah, man. So the first thought or feeling was fear, right? Because you got to think, you're 15. Well, I was 15, and I was actually 14 when she was conceived. because my daughter's birthday is 2 months after mine. So I had just turned 15. And so you got to think, right? You know, you ain't supposed to be humping at 14. So the fact that you are doing something that you don't even know what you're doing necessarily, that's one. And then two, now you got a child on the way. So for me at that time, it was like, all right, we got to, I didn't know what to do. I was scared. So I didn't tell anybody. Like I didn't tell anybody. My daughter's mother told my girlfriend at the time, and my girlfriend told my mom. You know what I'm saying? So that's how my mom found out. And, you know, I just thought, I was just like, yo, my life is over. Like that was the first thing I said. Like my life is over. Like no nothing, no college, no sports, no nothing. And I was just fortunate, man, like a lot of people are, you know, to have a good support system, you know. So my mom supported me, my dad supported me, my basketball coach at the time, God rest his dead, Marco Villa, supported me. And just let me know, like, look, man, we're gonna figure it out. Is it ideal? No. But we're gonna figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was that in terms of feeling, like that was dismay is another one, right? Depression, which I didn't realize at the time was another. Like I didn't see my daughter, bro. I didn't see Bree for like the first 2 to 3 weeks she was born. Because I was just like I didn't know what to feel. You know what I mean? Like the first time I saw her, my mom got her and brought her to the house. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, something like that. I didn't see her. So I didn't know. Like I didn't know how to feel. Like I didn't, I was embarrassed. Like I didn't want to say like I had a kid at that time because of how young I was and just like the people judging me and all of that. But yeah, man, that was like my initial fear or my initial feeling. Sorry.
So I think I'm on the complete opposite end of that in regards to like, because I mean, obviously I had a kid much later, and I just remember she sent me a picture of the
Movie
pregnancy.
Mike.
She sent me a picture of the pregnancy test, and I remember looking at it and was and like literally like the Martin whoa like jumping with joy, yo. I was so fucking happy, bro. I was so happy to be having a baby. It was like it was probably one of the greatest. It was almost like, you know, like running out of the tunnel after a championship game or something. It was
Right.
it felt amazing, yo.
And you were what, 27, 28?
No, I was 20. I was 20. I was 30. MJ was conceived. MJ was born 2 days before I turned 31.
Oh wow. Okay.
3 days. Sorry. Yeah. So, so I just remember being like ecstatic. I remember I was in Atlanta when I found out, and I was at a car dealership. I remember running, like literally running up and down the lot, like just whoa, like stupid hype, dumb hype. P, you in the middle somewhere?
I was thinking about it, but I don't even remember the moment she told me she was pregnant. I don't even remember that because the experience was so, I think, toxic that's the part that I remember. I don't remember her telling me. I've been sitting here trying to think while y'all was talking. I do not remember when she told me she was pregnant. All I remember is the shit I went through until that boy was born. Like that's all I really think about when it comes to the first part of fatherhood.
And that was with your wife, Prentice, or was that another relationship?
No. She my first child was Justice, his mom. So when I'm thinking like, you know, my first kid the first time, also I was gonna have it, but that shit was toxic, bro. Like that shit was hard, man. So I had to when I found out, okay, this is what I do remember. When I found out I was having a kid, I feel like there was a part of me that had to process it with my homie DC. Shout out to my man DC, because we lived together. And once I realized that I was having a kid, I was all in. I remember I moved from Oakland to her house in San Jose. Like she already had like a 2-year-old. So I was just like, fuck it, I'm about to have a kid. I might as well really try to do this. And that lasted like 2 weeks, me living with her. And then it was like I was a single father. And then a couple months after that, she was dating somebody else while she was pregnant. So for me, it had me all fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm about to have a baby. I'm excited. I'm juiced now. I think I'm about to do this together. Then we don't work out. Now all of a sudden I'm a fucking single father. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm like, whoa, what's happening? And then she got in another relationship while she was still pregnant and living with the dude. And so all of that just, and I'm 27. You know what I mean? I think at the peak of my fuckboy behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like just wilding, living life, not having to be responsible for anybody. And this happens. I'm just glad I focused in on having him, man, because it was definitely a process and an ordeal for me that I don't try to pad or sugarcoat. So it was a joyous experience. It sucked because of everything that, you know, transpired during the process, and obviously him moving to Florida shortly after being born. But I was definitely happy inside, bro. You know what I mean? Like I definitely was like, okay, I'm about to do this.
So they say mothers tend to fall in love with the child as they're, as during the pregnancy, like while the child is inside of them. Can you recall, I don't know, I guess a moment or that, like when you fell in love with your child? Like I know it doesn't happen for men as fast or as simple, but like, can you recall the moment when you fell in love with your baby? Your first, we're going to talk about just the first baby.
It's always when I see him. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like even now, like I love this little girl. I know I'm more patient right now. I can feel vibe and energy. I like to think, but it's always when I see him, man. When you see your child, there ain't nothing like it. You know what I'm saying? Like there ain't nothing like seeing your baby, man. So for me, it's on sight for me, like the love, because there's only so much you can do through a stomach. You know what I mean? Like you could talk and exchange dialogue and that energy, but you know, when you see them, man, you get to hold them and have that, you know, for me, it's that individual moment. I take all my babies as soon as they're born and have that it's just me and them for like 5 minutes. And I say everything I had in my head. I play whatever song I want to be our song, and just kind of take it from there.
So you said it, that individual moment is what did it for me. Like it wasn't when I first saw her. It wasn't the first couple of days in the hospital. We had gotten home, and she was holding my finger, and when I pulled my finger away, she would tantrum. When I gave it back, she would stop, and that's how like she would fall asleep for the first, you know what I mean, for the first couple of months, like just holding her dad's finger, or holding, you know, the longer she was holding somebody, she would go to sleep. And I just remember like when I pulling my finger away and like watching her little hand wrap around my finger, and she would just stop crying and go to sleep. And I was like, this is where it's at. Like it was just a good feeling, man. Like this is where it's at right here.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope. Brie, man, you gotta think, bro. That was almost 25 fucking years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, 24. Should be 24 this May. I don't know, but what I will say is this. I will say this, if I'm being vulnerable. It took me a while to get over myself when Brie was born. Because it was just so many emotions. I was a child. Like I didn't know what to feel. You know what I'm saying? Like obviously loved her from the day I saw her, everything like that. But I still feel that there was like a part of me that couldn't give myself completely to her yet in the beginning. You know, like in the very, very beginning, like because there was a part of me that like I just had to grasp that like she's my child. Like I couldn't get my head wrapped around that right away. But with my son, I don't know, man. Like I ended up getting emotional. Like I don't cry, and I'm not bragging. I just don't often. And I got emotional in the delivery room before he was even born. Like it was pre-labor, like she was in labor, but she wasn't pushing yet. I'll say that. She was about to be, but like you said, we had like a little playlist all put together or whatever. We had a playlist put together, and then we did it when we so we were playing it until the baby came, and certain songs would come on, and then I just started crying, you know what I mean? But now it's different, right? Like so now with him being it's crazy because he's 10 months, but he'll be a year next month. But he the thing is with him, it was like I'm one, I'm more mature, two, I'm an adult, right? Financially, I have the means compared to at 15. I wasn't even supporting myself. So it's like I don't have to worry about those outside influences. I can lock in and focus on him, you know what I'm saying, and bringing him up the right way and developing him. So like with him, man, that dude, I was thinking about it yesterday. Like I put him to sleep every night. Like every night I put my guy to sleep and then I wake him up every morning. So like I'm the last person he sees when he goes to bed and the first person he sees when he wakes up. You know what I'm saying? So with him, it was before he even came. You know, with Bria probably took, I don't know, a couple of weeks after, you know, me getting over the fact that, you know, I'm 15 with a baby and all of that. Like that was, and not that I didn't love her from day one, but it was just like almost like the ownership. Like, damn, like this is my responsibility. Like this person will be looking to me for everything. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like my long-winded answer for that.
No, that's dope. But I want to touch on the vulnerable part in that where you know you owned it. Like it was difficult for you to get over yourself. And fellas, you know, if you find yourself in a situation, like understand it's okay. You know what I mean? And in his case, he was just young, but in some of our cases, you know, in some cases, you know, it may not be the ideal situation for you, and that can be overwhelming. And in that case, you know, it's okay to feel that certain way as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do for the child.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, that's crucial, man. I know I definitely felt like a victim when fatherhood started for me. I definitely, you incorporate everything I feel, everything I experienced for his birth, and even the circumstances when he was born, leading to me fighting in court when he was a couple of months old for him to stay in California and not move to Florida. I just felt like a victim. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like here I go having something of my own, and I can't even have this shit. And all these people and circumstances are getting in the way of something I'm not even running from. So I had to, you like Bill, you had to get over yourself in the sense. I had to get over my circumstance. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I was happy because my circumstances made me fight even harder for them. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
because I felt like I had all these motherfuckers telling me when I could see them, and I'm just fighting to get more time. You know what I'm saying? I felt like ain't nobody gonna get in my way. You know what I'm saying? Like our relationship has to be beyond phenomenal because I have all this adversity out the gate. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I had to get over just the shitty shit that kept happening to me that I wasn't even asking for and that I felt I didn't deserve. And I think that really strengthened our relationship, me and Justice's relationship, because I fought for him. Like the only reason why I'm a poet now and doing this shit is because when he moved to Florida, I knew I didn't want no job during my 6 weeks of having him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just do this art shit and make whatever money off this and try to juke these unemployment checks until something pops. Damn it, I feel like even that, my love for him is intertwined with my whole life because I can literally trace a lot of my success now and where I'm at to becoming a father, and he's my first, you know?
I'll tell you this, man. Though at the time, me having a kid at 15 is not an ideal situation for anybody, right? Like I don't feel like I should say most people don't choose to be in that situation. But what I'll say is having my daughter that young was the best thing that could have happened to me. Like when I tell you I was a knucklehead back in the day, man, like I was a knucklehead. And I could have easily drifted, right? If I didn't have that responsibility, right? If I didn't have her as a responsibility, it's like you go through phases. So my first phase was like couldn't get beyond myself because I was just so young. And then once I realized, okay, this is a human being that I'm now responsible for, you ultimately make better decisions, right? Like I didn't make the best decisions always, but I made better decisions because I knew how it could potentially impact her life. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't go, a couple things I think of. And this isn't, these were all good things, but I didn't go play football down south because I wanted to be close to her. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't go play football in Canada because I wanted to be close to her. Like that to me was decisions that obviously shaped my life, right? And then obviously before that, as a knucklehead, 15, 16, 17 years old, I could have easily said, all right, well, I'm gonna sell dope, like because how can I get a job at 15? So I'm gonna just hustle, you know. And fortunately, I had people around me that was like, nah, bro, that's not it. That's not the move. You know, you got this to think about, you got that to worry about, you know. And I made do. Like I made do what I had. And like I said, with that support system. So without her, I don't know that I would have made those decisions. Like I would have potentially made a decision that fit my time, at that time, right? Like it may have been to appease my need at the time. Like it would have made sense at the time, but ultimately it wasn't the right decision. So that's what I'll say too, you know, like that. Like you when you talked about the fight that you had to keep your son, or to get rights to see your son or anything like that, I think about that because, you know, we can go into that after, but you know, I got a story like that too, you know, where it was different. It was a different outcome. And I was on the offense, right? Where you were on the defense, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to stop something, where I was trying to start something, basically. You know what I mean? But I don't want to go out of turn. What was the next thing? This was the beginning, Chief. Then what you said the next part was?
I got a question for you though, Chief. Are there times where you felt more prepared for one child than the other?
I don't really. If I'm answering that question honestly, I kind of felt like once I had, like, I've always had this knack for wanting to be a dad. Like every job I've ever had has been dealing with kids. You know what I'm saying? So I was just waiting for my opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you learn from one kid to the next to the next, but I've always felt like, especially because I had my first kid at 31. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I was prepared in terms of, you know, just the knowledge I had in interacting with children and behavior management, all the other, you know, whatever. But obviously, being a dad, you incorporate those things, but there's different elements to it. But I think for me, it was just my whole life from when I can remember, like of wanting to be a dad. I've kind of like subconsciously prepared myself for it, if that if that makes sense. And then when you have the more kids, it's kind of like, all right, well, you know what didn't work over here and what did work, and obviously you learn those lessons. But I don't think I ever was. I don't think I ever felt insufficient, if you will.
Yo, you know what I realized, like, is so key. Because so my wife, like our son, this is her first child, right? And obviously it's my second. But just like watching her parent for the first time, what I realized, yo, is patience is like is second to none. Like patience is second to none. Just watching her with him, how sometimes she just loses it because, you know, like she's experiencing all this shit for the first time. Whereas like you said, Chief, like you once it happens and you see what happens, okay, I'm ready. Like I've seen this before, you know what I mean? And that's what I'll say, man. Patience is, well, I guess patience is a virtue, right? But that's one thing that I noticed the second time around. And the other thing too, that I think, well, definitely Prentice, you're going to be in this situation. Like we're just better as time goes on, like as human beings, right? Like, and I'm speaking specifically for us, right? Like, and I would hope that the listeners are, we're all trying to strive to be better, that we're just better people, you know? So like we have, whether it be more education, more life experience, whatever. So there's no doubt in my mind, Prentice, for a number of reasons that your experience this time around will be completely different, right?
Oh,
You
night and
know,
day, man.
In the dopest of ways, though, man. Just
yeah,
in how you've been carrying yourself and the way you've been leveling up mentally, like it's gonna be a completely different ride, and you're gonna.
It already has been.
right.
That's interesting. It already has been, man. It creates a little bit of anxiety, to tell you the truth, to be this secure and stable in where I'm at as a man, to bring in another child into this world. You know what I mean? Like, damn, I really feel this is the first child I feel grown. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, yeah, this make all the sense in the world. Like, I'm kicking back with my feet up.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
okay, I'm patient, ready for it to happen. So it's weird you say that, because I already know I'm better, you know, and I feel it already. So I'm curious to see how it applies when she actually get here.
And
Yo,
that's.
it's crazy, man, because of my first experience, like I said to myself, my next child, because I knew I was gonna have kids again. I didn't know how many. I didn't know any of that. I didn't know when. I didn't know, whatever. But I said I want to be married. I said my next child, I want to be married, right? Because that to me was the the indicator that I was in a better place, right? And it's all relative, right? You can be married and not be in a good place, but like for me, it's like, okay, 15 and whatever age I end up having a kid, I don't know, but I'm going to be married, right? Because that was stability. Like that idea to me was as stable as it comes. You know what I'm saying? So that was that to me, it's like you can have a lot more of proactive conversations, right? In terms of the betterment of your child or raising your child, you can have proactive conversations as opposed to reactive conversations when you're not in a position to, again, when you're not in a position to get past yourself. You know what I'm saying? I know who I am. I'm confident who I am. Now I can just focus on this child. Whereas 24 years ago, that wasn't the case. You know what I mean? At inception, it wasn't the case.
I think the dope part about it is that you learn, you've come to develop yourself to this point that now
Yeah, speak up.
You like we begin to appreciate ourselves as fathers. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I told you this, Bell, but when you and Oz were here one day, and Major was doing something, and I had like I called him in the room, and I had like just talked to him about what happened. I think when he had Pop Stormy or something like that, and I was talking to him about it, and I heard you say to Oz like, "Yo, that's like textbook parenting over there." And the shit felt good for him. Like, he didn't say it to me, but he said to Oz, I was like, "Yo, it felt good," because like you just learn these things. Like I said, for me, in dealing with the kids and whatever, but like to have it co-signed from people you respect the most, it just means a lot. It just adds to that confidence as a dad, because again, we're all going to make mistakes as fathers, but having that confidence to know you're at least putting your all into it makes a world of a difference, man. A world.
Prentice, this dude sound like an infomercial parenting. How he be parenting his kids, it's like an infomercial. Yo, I swear to God, like it'd be like, Major, why did you do that? Now you understand how that makes him feel, right? Now you were his age at one time, weren't you? Now, did I ever do that to you? No. Okay, then why on earth would you do that to your younger, impressionable brother? Like, it's like shit like that, yo. That should be working though, man.
And that's the thing, man. You gotta find your niche.
I've learned to tap into my kids' emotions, man. Like my kids, they're like their father, man. So when you tap into their emotions and you talk about what they did makes people feel, they don't like that, and they really adjust it, yo.
You know what I had to learn how to do, but I had to learn fatherhood is not about barking and shit. You know what I mean? It's not about being in command as much as I think like society portrays parenthood and kind of fatherhood in a sense. And everything changed last summer once I started using genuine logic with my kids. Like just logic, not trying to shape it, so they can grasp it. And one thing I always did to help their vocabulary was I talked to them like grown ass people,
always
minus the cursing, out the womb. And you can hella see the difference and tell the difference in your children when you do that. But once I started using logic with them, your thing is emotion. Once I started using logic, like, bro, this makes no sense what you just did, and you realize that literally you could have decapitated your whole left foot by doing like just the logic and breaking it down.
Decapitate your foot.
Hey man,
decapitate your foot. But go ahead.
Yeah, decapitate your foot. So you made decapitate. Did I say decapitate?
You did.
You definitely said decapitate.
Oh, I mean amputate, but I ain't even high neither. That's the crazy part. But yeah, y'all know what the fuck I mean. Your fucking foot gonna fall off.
The foot gonna be gone. No foot.
Hey, listen, that's the whole motherfucking point. So don't do this motherfucking shit. But once I started learning to just kind of break it down and shit that just made sense and that just was from illogical to logical, they really seem to grasp those type of ideas, man. So I feel like once you find your niche, man, it works. Yo, Bell, do you feel like, is it muscle memory? because this is one thing I worry about, but it's 8 years difference between Anaya and my baby who's coming now. And just by looking at all the shit that we bought, like times have changed, technology has changed. You got a 25-year difference. I got an 8. Did it come back?
Yeah, it's muscle memory, bro. It's like it's muscle memory, but more and for us, right? It's muscle memory, and it's just like who we are, right? Like parenting is definitely a state of mind, right? Like it's because you could have a child but be a horrible parent, right? Like it's a state of mind. And just to touch on what you were saying about how our kids, like the logic and like tapping into emotions and stuff like that. What we have to understand, man, is our parents, by and large, right? Our generation, like the 80s babies and stuff like that, by and large, didn't have the tools that we have, right? Like just by and large, right? Obviously, there's pockets where it was different, but and then there was a lot of societal things happening, like a lot of influencing factors, right? Like, the heroin epidemic, the crack epidemic, right? Like poverty, like, there was a lot of things going on in the world, right? In addition to what was going on in your household. So you got to think, right? As a parent, like somebody had said to me a long time ago, one of my mentors, he was like, do you yell? It's like, do you yell or get upset? Or are you impatient with your team? And do you like yell at your team when something doesn't happen? I'm like, no, I'm patient, and I talk to them logically. And then they were like, are you the same way with your child? And I'm like, shit, right? Like, but that was like a stressor that I was bringing home at that time, right? And it's like that was like the epiphany for me. It's like, yo, I can't treat these people that are my employees better. I should say better, but with a different regard than I treat my own child, right? Like my patience shouldn't be as short with my child as it is with these strangers for all intents and purposes, right? So that is something I think about. It's like when it comes to parenting, like what was our parents dealing with, right? Like, and what went into the influence of their parenting style to eventually get us to where we are, right? Like P, we talk about all the time where it's like Peaches was out there getting it. You know what I'm saying? Like she was out there getting it. So I'm sure there was times where you was probably left at home a lot longer than you should have been at the age you were, right? Because she was out there trying to make shit happen. I know I was. I was talking about this other day. Like I was a latchkey kid in 3rd grade. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't like I used to drive my daughter to the fucking bus stop. Not to school, bro, to the bus stop, right? Like drive her to the bus stop. And I'm walking to and from school in 3rd grade. And she was in high school, by the way, like when I would drive her to the bus stop. So it's different things. But the way my mom's shift worked, she couldn't take me to school or pick me up from school. You know what I'm saying? And it was just one of those things. And plus it was a neighborhood. We all walked to school together and we walked home together. You know what I'm saying? But those are the influences that were taking place in that time that went into her parenting. So it's the same thing, right? Like we're in the information stage, our age, where your kids, your age that your kids are, Prentice, and even Chief you, they can access this information, bro. Right? Like you got to think of it, man. We had to get the Encyclopedia Britannica, like if we wanted that information at that age. You know what I mean? So it's just different. Like it's different. So yeah, man, it's muscle memory, bro. Your kids are gonna help you parent them because they're gonna be more in tune with things that are happening right now than we were at their age. So yeah, man, you'll be fine. It's like riding a bike.
I think that's crazy what you saying about treating your employees better than your kids. I think the last almost year I spent with Justice every day, it taught me a whole lot, man, because he goes from Florida to California. I've always felt the need to have to cram fatherhood into summer. You know what I'm saying? Like his whole life, like fatherhood is crammed into summer because that's the pocket of time where I have him when he's not in school. And so when he came over here from Florida to live, it was like I picked up right where I left off with that kind of parenting style, which kind of made me a little bit more forceful, a little bit more aggressive, and not as patient with him as I was the other two.
Yeah.
Because I'm with them every day, but with him, I gotta cram it. And what I didn't realize is how that can create a level of separation in treatment. You know what I'm saying? Like how and their kids receive things certain ways. So I had to really chill on that and really learn that like it took about three to 4 months for me to really recognize that I have time with this dude. Like really, it took months. But I really feel like the patience of being able to fall back, especially when you got multiple children, and assess your behavior and how that may be perceived by them and how that affects your treatment. You know, because I'm thinking I'm just giving him the fatherhood he's not getting with his mama. You know what I mean? Because his mom's not married no more. So I'm thinking about, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's not how it works, bro.
So
it's not how it works.
That's so crazy, right? So think about this. You were giving him the fatherhood that he wasn't getting, right? But did we know that was what he needed?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and
that's
you assume that's what you need. If you don't have a blueprint,
right,
you going off the cuff.
But that's more your agenda, right? That you're trying to fulfill, like you personally. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the biggest difference. You talk about logic with your kids, right? Like that's the biggest difference. Like our parents wasn't asking us how we wanted to be treated. And I'm not saying we need to ask our kids how we want to be treated, but we got to ask them what they need. You know what I'm saying? Like what like we know obviously safety and finance and stuff like that, but outside of that, emotionally, right? Like helping them understand that, hey, what's up? How you feeling? What you need, right? Because what you could be doing could be counterproductive, right?
Perfect example.
Because you're going off what you believe to be what they need, right? Instead of just taking a step back and just having a conversation. I think that's the biggest difference here, where it's like, you know, the whole do as I say, not as I do. I don't know that applies anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's too much access. Like it's too much access, man. And we got to live that shit because our kids, they're smart, man. They're smarter now than we were coming up, just because again, they have more access to information. Now they may not be as street smart as we were, right? And have them real world experiences as we did, but they're perceptive, and they'll know where to find the information.
So
we got to check our agendas, man. When he got, you know, he's tested in the top 2% in the state of Florida for gifted children. You know what I'm saying? He's a brilliant dude. So when he got here and having to be homeschooled, his grades dropped, and he's a straight A student. So here it is, the first time I have my son, and I get to actually be a part of his education, and his grades go tank.
And like, Justice, your daddy dumb as hell.
Right. Not only that, but I gotta talk to his mama. His mama's wondering why his grades is dropping. You know what I'm saying? So I have all this extra pressure now of having my son for the first time, and now we gotta figure out what it looks. I don't know what parenting with school looks like in person with this dude. So we got to figure that out. So for a couple of months, come on, man, your grades, and you got to do this and do that. And then I realized this shit ain't his strong suit. And then I realized the amount of work he's having to do. And then I realized it's fucking Florida school system. But let me tell everybody now, Florida is fucked up all around. Them jokes about Florida are no lie, bro. Like if I compare the way they just function versus the way my kids out here in the Bay, you know, going to school in the Bay function, it's night and day. So I had to learn that, this is about supporting him through this. And I got to identify that this isn't your strong set. So now the focus went from making sure you keep these straight A's to figuring out how we're going to adapt and adjust to this online learning, because he's struggling. He wants to please his father, and I'm on his head. So he's walking upstairs feeling defeated every time when he's going to his home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then he's less talkative, and he's watching TV more and playing video games a little more. And all I got to say with him is about these grades. Because I'm thinking, I don't want his mama thinking I'm not able to handle this shit, because he's going to be with me permanently in Florida. In California his freshman year. So I got to look good. You know what I'm saying? And I need you to do your job. But you're in a totally different situation. So I had to take that pressure off him and be like, look, man, this shit ain't your strong suit. But what we're going to do is figure out how we're going to get through it as best as possible. And his grades started to, and when he got back to Florida, now he's back where he needed to be. But I just had to ease up on him and realize that fatherhood can't be taught in a pocket of time, man. And because we want to be fathers so bad that some of us don't have the opportunity to put that work in, we try to cram that shit. But just like you said, Bill, sometimes cramming that ain't what they need.
Right.
Sometimes they need you to be they first, you always their father, but they need a friend too.
Yeah.
And we say, I'm your father, not your friend. Fuck that. I learned last year, bro. You got to be your son's friend, man. You really do.
Just give and take with that. But anyways, I wanted to make a point about.
There is. I don't mean
no, there is.
Though.
I want to make a point about just the balance, because you were talking about having to explain things to his mom, but I know we use the term single dad, and as much as you're doing it by yourself per se, you're not by yourself. They still have their mom, but that balance is important. And I recognize that recently, because my oldest is giving me, I'm about ready to put my hands on him. When I put my hands on him, it's gonna be a problem, because the nigga's bigger than me, and I'm not a small man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
but I got a comment on that, but continue.
No, so in like there's this disconnect sometimes because testosterone is high. So my lady friend interjected and kind of helps ease that tension a little bit. So having that balance is very, very good sometimes, because again, when we're dealing with our boys, that testosterone is there, and it's just sometimes that it's just tense, and that estrogen comes in, and it really plays a big part in helping to ease the tension and create better dynamics between the two of us.
Yeah, I had a comment, but I forgot what it was. I think it's a little bit of both. Like, I think it's actually, before I say that, one thing I'll say is raising girls and raising boys are two different things. Like, I'm so glad, bro, that I got a girl first. Like, I'm so glad, because it made me more in tune with emotion, which I couldn't be further displaced from emotion, right? But it made me more in tune with it. Because you can't just punch them in the chest, tell them sit down and shut up. You know what I'm saying? Not that you're necessarily supposed to do that with boys either, but it's I guess
more acceptable.
There's moments when it's warranted.
Yeah, it's almost like it serves multiple purposes, but you can't really punch your daughter and justify it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but yeah, that helped me, man. Like, that helped me with those conversations, like not necessarily reasoning, but understanding, right? Like taking more time to ask questions to get a better understanding of where she is and what's happening and all of that. Whereas and I know for a fact, if I had a boy at that time, I would default to my parenting, right? The parenting that I received, which my dad, he's from the South. He's a country dude. Like, we wasn't having long conversations about what I was feeling and stuff like that. Not that it was warranted or it wasn't, we just weren't having it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a great father, but he ran his household with iron fists. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we learned the hard way. I learned the hard way. Like, I got beat religiously, you know what I'm saying? And then put on punishment. Like, it was multiple summers where I couldn't leave the house, you know what I'm saying? But that was his style. And if I had a boy, I would have went that, you talk about learned behavior, right? Like, that's where I went back to. I would have been like, okay, well, that's how it was done with me, right? But it doesn't mean that was the right way to do it. That's just the way that it was done, So that would have been the way I did it. But now that I have a son, I'm not going to default to that because of the training ground with my daughter, right, if that makes sense. And obviously, I'm more educated now and everything like that. So,
do you guys think that, because I have lady friends who have daughters, and how there's your daddy's little girl and a mama's boy situation, and I just talked about the testosterone between my son and I. Do you think that balance, or that estrogen testosterone thing is paramount in families? Like, the women tend to beef with their daughters more than they beef with their sons as they get older, and men tend to beef with their sons more than they beef with their daughters as they tend to get older. Is that, is that a good parallel?
It's proven, man, that a father is the most important person in a little girl's life, right? That's a fact. Like that's proven, right? That's science. And it's also proven that a mother is the most important person in a little boy's life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure that plays a part, right? Because, you know, me and Bree, man, like our toughest year, bro, was when she turned 12. Like that shit was horrible, like horrible. And I don't know if it was her hormones, like her going through puberty, like what it was, but man, we didn't see eye to eye for a long time, but then we got through it. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't necessarily have, like her mom wasn't around like that. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have that estrogen balance. You know what I'm saying? Like I had her grandparents, but you know, grandparents ain't the best disciplinarians, man. Like
Definitely ain't.
They gonna give them candy and send them right back home.
it's like, yo, how you beat me with anything you get your hands on,
Nigga.
but like I gotta talk to her, like you like what? Like I got beat with wet towels. Like, come on, man. Like, what we talking about? But all of a sudden, you forgot how to beat people and discipline people.
Right.
So anyway, like I didn't have that balance. You know what I'm saying? Day to day. Her grandparents were good sounding boards, right? Like voice of reason, if you will, at times.
I want to shift dynamics real quick. Let's talk about that. Like back in the day, my grandfather used to tear my ass up. All the grandkids. How do you respond now? Like if Mamita beat Chase up, not beat him up, but you know what I'm saying Mamita had to beat Chase. Like how do you respond? Like
Mamita ain't beating Chase. Yo, you're not listening to what I'm saying, man. These grandparents is soft now, bro.
No, for sure. For sure. What I'm saying is it was very acceptable back then. Like my mom never checked my grandfather for beating me or you know what I mean, or my aunt.
No, I'm fine, man. I'm not, listen, I'm from the old school too. Like I know how bad I used to be. Like I had to be beat by multiple people. Like it was mandatory. I was bad, bro. Like my sister, I was talking to my sister the other day, and she reminded me I got banned from my grandmother's house, fam. Like
savage.
Like how all my mom kids can come over but me. like that's the level bad I was, yo. So I had to get beat. So if my son is anything like me, hell yeah. Shit, you beat him if he at your crib acting up, chief. Like, but I don't know that they ever will. I don't know that my mom, definitely not Mamita. Mamita, she's so sweet. And then the same thing, like I'll be talking to the kids and I'm like, yo, she was a savage. Like she didn't play no games. You know what I'm saying? Like she from the island. She ain't playing none of that. But now it's like bending over backwards for these punk ass grandkids, man. Like it's crazy, yo. Like the preferential treatment these grandkids get is unparalleled. Like I can't believe it.
Insane, bro. My mom lets them kids do anything. And then when I bring up how she used to whoop me, bro, she gets all fucking mad. Let me not curse. She gets all freaking. Let me shut up. She gonna listen to this. Never mind.
It's too late now. You already walked in the fire.
No, see, that's the thing. It's not too late, but I know she's gonna listen to this, and I know what I was gonna say is not gonna land well for her. So I'm gonna shut up.
She gonna finish the sentence anyway. So,
it don't matter if she finish it as long as he ain't telling it to 34 countries that's listening. Like
that part.
That's all that is.
Oh,
that's all that is.
That is too funny, man.
We can go on and on for days about this particular topic, man. Let's end it with a gem you want to give an expecting dad, a current dad. What's a nugget you can give a dad to adhere to, you know, during this duration of his fatherhood?
Don't convince yourself that you have it all figured out, because you never necessarily do, and you got to be kind to yourself in the process, man. Understand that as you grow, some of your decisions are going to impact your kids, and not always in good ways. But once you identify that, fix it, but be kind to yourself, even if it impacted your child. You get what I'm saying? Because we're still growing. I think sometimes as fathers, we feel we got to have the whole shit figured out when we don't know how to do this yet. You know what I mean? And we're still learning about ourselves. So just be kind to yourself in the process of fatherhood.
Yeah, I think, man, forgive yourself. right? You're gonna make mistakes, bro. Like, especially if you're a first-time parent, you're gonna make mistakes. And there's gonna be people, i.e., potential grandparents or potential aunts, uncles, that are gonna have opinions on how you should raise or or treat or do things. Like, we got all kinds of criticism. I shouldn't say criticism, but like we're older, but we're new age parents. You know what I'm saying? And like, for instance, like, which I was against, but I was grateful for. Like, my wife got a sleep coach for my son. You know what I'm saying? Like, to train him to sleep, basically. And my mom and everybody had comments about it. And I'm like, look, I feel you, I feel you, I feel you. But now my son sleeps 10 hours straight.
Bruh, I
Like,
was talking about getting a sleep coach. The fact that you
yo,
said
it's
that is
like, yo, call me whatever you want to call me, fam. Like, I'm not sleep deprived, right?
that's dope.
Them couple dollars that we had to spend, that shit was worth its weight in gold. You know what
Hey,
I'm saying?
bro,
Like,
send me that info.
yeah, I
Send me that
got you.
info for real,
No,
for
I
real.
got you for sure. And it's like, they like, there's people that like, see, this isn't a final thought, but I want to touch on this, man, because I think sometimes, as parents, we get so accustomed to like how we were raised or what people are telling us how you should raise your kids. I think about like that sleep coach situation, right? The 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 number of parents, listen to this, the number of parents that smother their children at night is like ridiculous. Like, it's a super high number. So what ends up happening is a kid can't sleep in their crib. They're crying. You can't put them back to sleep. What happens? You bring them in there in your bed, and you're fucking tired, right? Because you operate on 2 hours of sleep, 3 hours of sleep. You roll over, and unfortunately, a lot of cases, again, this is a statistic. Like, the kids pass away because they're just the mom or dad is just out of it because they don't have sleep, and it's like, all because you don't want to get a sleep coach because of what people are saying about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, or how they're judging you. Like, be your own parent, right? Like, do what makes sense for you. You know what I mean? Like, we made that decision, and it's worth its weight in gold. Like I said, you know what I mean? It's so many things that have evolved since you were raised that is worth tapping into and listening, right? And if you don't like what you hear, then default to back what you knew. But there's a lot of options and a lot of resources out there to parent a different way, and you can still get the same result. I guess there's no wrong way to do it.
Right. So a nugget I think I could give them is that, again, like you were saying, don't be afraid to make mistakes and choose your way of parenting. But what I can say is put a lot of emphasis on raising good people. I mean, I try my hardest not to curse at or around my kids. You know what I'm saying? And I was in the grocery store the other day, and lady had her spouse on the phone, and the kid had done something, and just the conversation they had was just like, you little motherfucker don't listen, and blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, yo, that's terrible parenting, yo. Like, it was just really really bad. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
maybe they don't realize that, but like, think about what they're doing for that child. Like, how is that child's gonna end up growing up speaking the same way? You see them little videos on YouTube where the child is cussing the mom out or cussing at a very young age, or when like dad's yelling at the mom and then little boy repeats after dad. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
they model after the stuff we do. So just be mindful that you want to raise good humans, man. Like, nobody.
Worse than them modeling that is they believe that they are that little motherfucker.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They
Right.
believe what their parents are saying. It was crazy because Bree had brought it up the other day. Somebody had said something about, I think it was my mom, said something about me swearing. She's like, G-Ma, I know that's not true because dad just started swearing around me recently. You know what I'm saying? And my daughter's about to be 24. You know what I mean? Like, so I was always very cognizant of that. And listen, guys, even if you do swear around your kids, that doesn't make you a bad parent, right?
Right.
Just like Chief said, man, it is, if you just begin with the end in mind, right? I want to make these little people great humans, right? What can you do to aid in that? That's all.
I'll tell you a quick story, P. I don't know if I told you, but MJ might have been like two, maybe three. I'm in the bathroom and she's knocking on the door trying to use the bathroom. And I'm like, wait a minute, baby, I'll be out in a second. And then she knocks again, like, Dad, I gotta use the bathroom. Like, all right, babe, I'll be out in a second. And then another minute goes by. She knocks on the door again. I'm like, baby, I'll be out in a second. She was like, oh, hurry up, nigga.
Oh.
P, when I tell you, I wanted to laugh so hard. I wanted to laugh so hard, but I had to teach the lesson right there. What? Where you hear that word? Who taught you that? You know what I'm saying? We went through it. Did you hear Daddy say that? Did you hear Mommy say that? I know it's me and Belle probably talking and she heard or something. You know what I'm saying? But like, did you hear Daddy say that? And she's like, no. Where you hear that word? I don't know, Dad. And we curved it, but yo, it was just it was a prime example of one. I need to mind my language around my daughter, but two, just how much them little sponges absorb that stuff, man. The way she delivered it though was textbook. Hurry up, nigga. I was like, yo. It was hella funny, yo. Hella funny.
That is hilarious.
Anyways, final thoughts, yo. We gave nuggets. Give a final thought. Belle.
Oh, final thought, man. Love your kids, man. We need more parents loving their kids. You know, as many parents as we can loving their kids, man.
And telling them that though.
Yeah.
And telling them that too.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Yeah, man, make sure your kids be an example, right? Like be an example that you want them to be, you know. So love your kids. That's what I'll finish with that.
I say, let your kids see you without the cape on. It's very important that you normalize triumph through adversity, and you are the best example for them to see that. Be selective, be mindful, but let them see you without the cape off. So like when they experience it later on in life, they know it's not a foreign thing. You know what I mean?
Let your kids see love, and it's kind of what you're saying, Belle, but it's different. Like, be that example of love by giving it to them and how you love on yourself and your significant other. I think
that's a lot. That's a lot to unpack right there, and that could probably be an episode.
Let's talk about it.
I don't even know if you realize how much you just said. Like, that's a lot.
Write that down. When you run this back, write that down. Let's make that a whole episode. We can really get into that. Let's do that next. Shit. Sure. Let's do that next.
We can definitely do that, yo. So again, hit us with any feedback at allblackmenneedtherapy@gmail.com, on all social media outlets at All Black Men Need Therapy. We're gonna keep this party rolling, yo. We got an email today. We got a bunch of views, yo. We rolling. The party's still going, man.
Yeah, we hit 10,000 downloads.
Y'all,
let's go.
Y'all do us all a favor. Hug a black man today.
Do it.
And tomorrow.
Do it.
We out, y'all.
Peace.